Hello, listeners. Welcome to our new episode of Mohsin, my mentor. Artificial intelligence is one of the important thing which we are hearing these days, and there are multiple different questions coming out of various different professions from different sectors as well. So today in our episode, I have invited one of our mentor who is a scholar completing his PhD. His specialized area is artificial intelligence. I would like to welcome Bilal. Assalamu alaikum, Bilal. How are you?
Walaikum salam. Thanks very much for having me, Mohsin. I'm very well, thank you. It's quite early in Vienna, 5
Mhm.
a.m. And cold actually. So yeah, I'm doing well.
Great. So, Bilal, we would like to hear from you, starting with your brief background. How did you started your journey as a professional, and how did you realize that this artificial intelligence is one of the area which is of your interest, and you would like to pursue your doctorate in this area?
I think we can go into just before Corona when I was a market maker for soft commodities. I was looking after cocoa, coffee, and sugar future
Mm-hmm.
contracts, and I realized that proprietary trading. So this is point and click trading is there, but there is definitely an advantage if you know one thing coding and second thing doing machine learning analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2017-18 this realization came, and from there on I started learning myself, and Corona actually gave me a great chance because there I pursued my second master's from the University of York in England, in computer science and artificial intelligence. And then I pursued this while I was completing my master's. I started working at Siemens and also a little bit with Microsoft, rolling out the university challenge for India and the whole of Europe. So this was interesting. And again, we were just trying to get as many students to learn about AI, learn about different services. And from there on, I stumbled upon a PhD.
Mm-hmm.
The PhD was and is actually focusing on ontology development. So we're looking at how causality of something happens. And while I was researching this, I also, you know, when you're doing your PhD, there'll be an assumption what you think and then when you do your research, something completely different evolves from this. Actually, this is very much artificial intelligence as well. The more research you do, the more you'll find out where the gap is. And the gap then turned into a PhD, which looks after knowledge management with neuro symbolic AI. So, this is a very, very specific type of artificial intelligence. And for practical use case application. So applying this in real world, we will apply this on how to manage knowledge. And so yeah, this is it was just a chain of effects,
Mm-hmm.
curiosity, and learning, and takes you somewhere.
Yes. So, for youngsters and those who would like to pursue the career in AI, how would you describe actually AI? As you have said that there are multiple different areas which can be utilizing AI, and you have some specialized area working on that. But for the layman purpose, what is actually artificial intelligence?
Artificial intelligence is trying to replicate human behavior
Mm-hmm.
inside a machine or a computer. So trying to, let's say, decode how the brain works in a digital format. That I think that is the most simple way of saying something.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And this can be utilized in different areas, like in normal, usual life. When we see, for example, it can be used in healthcare sector, it can be used in construction sector, maybe in education as well. Do you think it
So
is
these,
here?
these are three things you've touched, and three things. I'm going to type this while talking about it. So first you said healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very much going to be cancer. How
Mm-hmm.
breast cancer is being detected 5 years earlier because of
Mm-hmm.
the T minus cancer cell and the behavior of this cell even before we using traditional, I mean traditional, modern traditional techniques of detecting cancer. So AI is very much looking into the behavior of the evolution of these cells, and this is how you can detect 5 years earlier if you will get breast cancer or not. You talk about construction. In
Mm-hmm.
construction, we have something called cyber physical systems, and within this cyber physical system, you have something called a digital twin. A digital twin is what the word is. It is a direct twin of your real building into a digital scope. So this is combining the physical and the digital realms together, and this is what is a cyber physical system. Now, your digital twin can have many different types of twins. We will just look at shadow and cognitive. Shadow digital twin is a twin where it will copy exactly what is happening in real life, and so you will be able to see and control your plants, your manufacturing sector, or your buildings, how your buildings are moving, or your occupancy rate actually. So your energy consumption within the building. So operational wise, cognitive digital twin is something where you can apply simulations on and see how this will behave and work in real life without actually implementing this in real life. So this AI very much works on your use case application. Now, in terms of education, when I was working with Siemens, Siemens had an internal system for educating their own employees. Now, in this sense, they had access to so many courses. Actually, it was very difficult to find which course is appropriate for which particular
Mm-hmm.
person. This
Okay.
is quite a similar technology to what Amazon use. It's called recommender systems. So it is analyzing your behavior, your
Mm-hmm.
profile, and it is looking into what kind of courses you are interested in, what is your interest as a human being, and then it will recommend what courses you should study. But most of these guys use it. LinkedIn Learning also uses something similar. I mean, YouTube, when
Mm-hmm.
it's recommending what videos to watch, this is analyzing your behavior and comparing this to other people's behavior, and then recommending what video you should be watching. So, if used well, I think you can get a lot more accurate predictions and accurate pinpoint information. Yeah,
Okay. So AI is going to help you forecast the future. What could be the chances of any specific event which has to be open up? Like as you said that in healthcare sector as well, you can predict possible chances of cancer, any such other disease coming up, and in education as well. Uh, in fact, for the entertainment industry as well, as you pointed out that they forecast that this is the pattern, and accordingly, suggestions are being given, right?
yes. You're asking me what AI will bring to the future of us as a society. Is this the question?
Yeah, like as you said mentioned as well that the forecasting is going on. So how do you think that society will react to that, and will that be able to facilitate more in a digitalized world, or this could bring job losses, or uh, might not be good for the society overall?
I think let's look at the example of when the tractor was invented. Before the tractor was invented, a farmer was pulling a cow and plowing the field with the cow.
Mm-hmm.
When the tractor was invented, the farmer complained, "Oh, I'll be out of a job," and they had to adapt their skills, learn how to drive a tractor, and suddenly you had a lot more efficiency plowing the land. You had a lot less time required, and actually it benefited the animal as well because the animal was not going through this hardship. So I think society can be looked in this way, where people will need to learn how to use artificial intelligence. They will have to get a little bit more digitalized. By that, I mean they need to learn how to use prompts for these LLMs that are running around right now.
Mm-hmm.
Effectively, how to implement this into day to day life. AI is not a tool where you allow AI to decide. your future. It is there to give you options what to do. It is there to make your life easier. So this is very important. I think so. Future wise, meeting agendas. You don't have to write meeting agendas anymore. You just have to go and brief your LLM. Okay, what kind of meeting do I want? What is the point of my meeting? What kind of audience do I have? The more description and the more accurate description you can give, it will create an agenda for you. So the time that you have to spend doing tasks which do not have much value will decrease. And then you can focus on tasks which will have value. And if you don't learn, then you don't remain relevant. So regardless of whether AI exists or not, I don't think you'll have a job if you stop learning. That's a very that's a separate issue. That's an issue on how you approach your work. No, AI.
Hmm. So that means that trends are going to change, as you have mentioned. Very simple and basic example that a farmer used to farm with a hardcore energy along with the cattle running for them. And now you can see, in fact, more advancement has been done. You can see even drone sowing the seeds, because that's much more lazy technology in farming as well. So we cannot say that the jobs are being obsoleted, but there is a change in trend. You might be monitoring how things are going on. So the same thing could happen when we can see that overall AI is being implemented and things could be changed with respect to the working aspects, and requirement from the job area will also be changing. Am I right?
Absolutely. If I'm hiring someone right now, let's say to do organizational
Mm-hmm.
requirements, I think it's very, very important that they know how how to use AI to help them with the daily admin tasks. I mean, why do you need to go and think about if you have 40, 45 events that you need to fulfill into a calendar of a CEO? Then there are apps that do this for you in the most prioritized manner. You don't have to go and calculate this manually and start fitting in different events at different times, because once you do this, then the behavior of how you input events is being analyzed, and then 2, 3, 4 weeks later, you'll start getting recommendations on when the events should happen, even before you've put in the events. So this will make your life easier. So then you can go and actually bring more value to your job, bring more business to your job. That is what's going to happen. So it's very important that you understand that data is essential and there is
Mm-hmm.
no running around from this. Um, and yeah, get used to it.
Yeah.
That's, that is the future.
Yeah. But Bilal, data was in existence earlier as well. We know there was huge slump in the market when there was a market crash earlier, way back in, I'm talking about like in 90s era, there was a time it happened. Then there was industrialization, then there was a time of technology coming up, emerging at that time. Data was very much there in every different sector. People used to work on census and draft the demographics when they were contesting for elections. There were political parties running after the data why because they wanted to nominate the candidate based on the demographic features. So data was there. Decision making was being done earlier as well. But now data sciences has emerged a lot, and AI is facilitating along with this all data wise working. So, w- is there a change of trend or shift based on which, or there is an advancement in technology based on which we can see that more efficient utilization of data is being there?
That's absolutely correct. Speaking of market crashes, we're experiencing a market crash right now. Whether it's a
Yes.
correction or a change trend, that is very much happened. I mean, S&P lost 11,
Mm-hmm.
12%, whatever, in the last week or so, or 2 weeks. Um, so data in terms of there's a number, and I can record the number exists. This has existed since the Roman times, actually. Um,
Yes.
how we use data, that is the point, right? So before you would have calculations and you would have an input, a function, a sigma function, and an output. This is no longer the case because this sigma function behaves in a specific way for particular inputs and outputs. Now, this is where we've already passed machine learning, and we're now going into neural networks. How you will start developing different nodes and edges. By that I mean you would have data points in different sectors. How do you connect them together? Um, and the behavior of how you connect them together. This is artificial intelligence, actually. And in this sense, data is going to be used very, very differently. I mean, a lot of people are talking about supervised, unsupervised machine learning, deep learning. Machine learning is old. This is no longer new. And I see a lot of people adapting this now. So they're maybe 10 to 15 years late to the party. um, I think people need to move on into knowledge graphs, ontologies, and then look into reinforcement learning. But ChatGPT is based on reinforcement learning model where it looks at actions and state spaces, sees the outcome. If the outcome is good, then there is a reward, and so it learns from this. This is how data is being used now. Data is not there to make decisions. Data is there to train, let's say, an algorithm how to behave and how the behavior was happening. So then you can start predicting behavior after this. Um, whilst, and disclaimer, you have a behavior, that doesn't mean the decision is made for you. You yourself have to be responsible for your own decision making. I see a lot of students actually copying and pasting from ChatGPT.
Hmm.
I do not mind students copying and pasting from ChatGPT because at the end of the day, you yourself are signing your own work. So I couldn't care less where the work comes from. Um, if you are copying and pasting and you've read everything and you can defend what you're saying, then that is a reflection of your intelligence. You cannot use the excuse that, oh yeah, this is generative AI. Um, this is quite similar to referencing in a library where we would go and actually quote an author's particular text word to word, put it into our dissertation or something, and submit this. This is the same thing here.
Hmm.
We have it. And this is splitting academics very much because some academics refuse to take anything that is AI generated and immediately give you a fame,
Yes.
and some are encouraging. But people that are refusing, I don't think they will last very long, because this technology is going to be implemented. Why should I waste my time Googling something now? Because, well, if I put it into ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Cloud, or whatever, Gemini, I will get a much more detailed result. Now it's up to me to go and cross reference this, check it, if it is correct or not. If it is correct, I have information ready already in a particular format that I want, so I can submit it. Why should I waste my time? So,
Yes.
this is how data is going to be used, and that in itself is data. So we have to be careful what we receive. We actually input this into our own brain. We have to think a little here, um, and think, okay, is this really reflecting what I'm thinking, what I'm saying? And if it is, then sure, you can submit it. Because at the end of the day, you will be held responsible for it.
Yes. So you rightly pointed out, as you mentioned, that AI is there to help you, to guide you, to facilitate you, rather than just backing on it and without doing any of your research, without doing any cross-checking or and getting some endorsement. As you have mentioned, like we used to work on hardcore books, get some references, provide the appropriate reference, and then quote it that yes, this is what this gentleman is or this lady has written in the book or any other journal or article or publication, and accordingly, this facilitates you. But as you mentioned, that in academics, people are using it, youngsters are using it, in fact, but they are not. I think. Uh, Maybe there is a difference of opinion as well, but those are academicians, those who are coming up and saying that they are not being utilized with the aspect of doing some research to cross verify. You have rightly and very efficiently pointed out that this is the core line of difference. If you just copy and paste and don't even invest time in reading what you have written and just submit that, you are not being able to defend what you have written, then there's a problem. But if you know what you have written, that means fine. You can utilize that. Yeah, perfectly fine. So AI is there, machine learning is there, and you have mentioned that data was earlier mentioned available as well, but now data is being used to facilitate. When we sum up all this part, as you have mentioned, that data is being used to help you facilitate in terms of decision making, in terms of forecasting, and predict what could be the appropriate choice in the upcoming future. Right, Bilal? This is how we can sum up.
we can sum this up. I mean, I submitted a journal a month ago in
Mm-hmm.
IEEE. IEEE is the top ranked journal for engineering. Now, within the journal requirements, it said, quote, um, or write to us
Okay.
where you have used generative AI.
Mm-hmm.
So now they've even adapted and allowed academics to use generative AI and submit this information, but you just have to identify where it's being used, which is fair enough. So there you go. The top journal, academics, is now facilitating the use of generative AI. So you either adapt, or like you said, for a job you have to keep adapting, or anything, and even in a business you have to keep adapting and keep learning skills. So either you will or you will not, and complain that AI took your job.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to happen.
Yes, yes, perfectly fine, Bilal. Thanks a lot. I know you are so busy working on your submissions and your scholarly work. We wish you best of luck and thanks a lot for your time. It was very informative session, and I'm pretty much hopeful that maybe some of the youngsters or some other professionals might approach you on LinkedIn for any kind of guidance or any kind of things. So I hope you will be available for any kind of advice if someone want from you.
Absolutely, I do it even now, on LinkedIn, and I'm doing my PhD at the University of Technology in Vienna. So people reach out to me and I help them out. This is completely fine. This is our job to do this, actually. And it's okay. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Absolutely no problem.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Bilal. Take care and have a blessed day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Wilson.
Thank you, listeners, and wish you best of luck for your futures. And we are going to come up with much more episodes with more mentors with us. Bye for now.